Welcome back to another educational video where we continue on the movie of Editorial and understanding why she behaves the way that she does. Comments are encouraged. So, why is Edith's personality the way it is? She's seen as very stubborn, she knows her own mind, she doesn't want to take correction, she's seen as very stingy, and also she's seen as very arrogant, etc. Are these fair characterizations of Edith, or could it come from her childhood? Now, we heard in the last video about some of her upbringing, and this video we want to continue on talking about what she faced when she went to finally join her mother, and to see whether that can account for the reason why she behaves the way that she does. Now, Jenny, G Gift's youngest daughter, pranked her mother. And I often say that the thing with pranks is that inside that prank, it often reveals a lot of truth. That's what people don't understand. When you're pranking somebody, you uncover sometimes an element of truth. So in this prank, Jenny was pranking G Gift that she was pregnant. At this point, Jenny, I think, was about maybe 17 or 18. And what was very revealing was how G Gift responded.
Like me, about pregnancy, even over my dead body, I can never do that. Even while I was a kid, I have never removed my own pregnancy.
This really ties in with the fact that we said that G Gift was extremely young when she gave birth to Editorial. Even though they were trying to say in the last video that, oh yeah, she was like 20, 21, we calculated from her school photos, Editorial's age now, that she actually was around 16, 17. But the prank also revealed the stress that G Gift may have faced when she gave birth to Editorial. Pranks, like I said, they reveal a lot. Sometimes people can hide things deep inside that they've forgotten, but when they're put into a situation of stress, those emotions come out. So during this prank, a lot of emotions that G Gift seemed to have suppressed around the time of her maybe revealing to her mother her pregnancy actually came out. And I want you to look at this video and just imagine that Jenny actually was G Gift back in the day when she was pregnant with Editorial, and that G Gift is her own mother. And when G Gift is talking, just imagine that this is what her own mother was saying to her when she revealed that she was pregnant with Editorial.
It's like you are not your senses. You are not with your senses. Jenny, you are telling me that something I should be proud. I should be proud of you.
Not like first now.
I should be proud of you getting pregnant so that you come and born for me. No.
So, as I said in the last video, I think there was a lot of shame, a lot of denial around that pregnancy that G Gift does not want to talk about. And a lot of that rejection was now placed on Editorial. And I feel that the trauma of that rejection may have affected her personality. I think some of it was her growing up with her grandmother. She loved her grandmother a lot, but she describes her grandmother as being a disciplinarian, very, very strict. But also that sense that she's been rejected by her mother and that her mother now has another family, I think affected her personality.
She abandoned you and never remembered that you were existing as a child. Even your mother rejected you. Nobody knew if you were existing.
So this, sense of rejection was made worse when Editorial was sent away rather than being asked to come by G Gift. So remember, she was in the village. She keeps saying it was a short time, but I think she's been convinced that it wasn't a long time. She doesn't seem to understand that 12 to 13 years is a long time to be away from your mum. So she was sent away at 13 years, not because G Gift wanted her to come. G Gift had no intention maybe of sending for Editorial. She was struggling in Lagos. She had another child. We don't know who the husband is of that child, but she had to be sent away because the village was no longer safe. So this was another very traumatic time for Editorial, and it probably caused a lot of emotional damage. So like I said, maybe Editorial's personality now, she's compensating for what happened before, because sometimes some of the reasons why it seems like she's being dragged is that she seems to be so mean. She seems to be so selfish. But I have to say, looking back through Editorial's early videos, especially when she was in Abuja and before she really blew on YouTube, before she got married, actually she didn't seem that mean to me. So something has been triggered in Editorial. So this is her describing what she was like when she was young, secondary school, even when she got to Lagos, her personality.
When I was a kid, when I was very small, I was in primary school, stroke secondary school. I used to be this kind of timid, introvert kind of person because I was always shy. Always shy of everything. I'm like, if I speak, they will laugh at me. If I say it, they will laugh at me. If I just open my mouth, they will laugh at me. So let me just keep my mouth shut and not even say anything.
So, she came, to G Gift not having been sent for, and, with this personality, shy, quiet, being afraid to speak up, and she arrived into a very strange family structure, which maybe shut down her voice even more.
This is my traditional marriage pictures. You can see husband and wife. After the traditional marriage comes the wedding. See grandma.
Editorial joins G Gift. She now has a new family. We know that maybe 2 to 3 years after arriving, Jenny was born. And when she arrived at the age of 13, Kemsey, like I said, was around 3 or 4 years old. We don't know if this husband is the father of Kemsey. But other thing which is a bit strange with this family structure that she arrived into with these 2 young children, 1 young child, a new husband, and then Jenny coming, is that, G Gift is describing her traditional marriage first, and then she then says that she got married. She had a white marriage afterwards. But the photos that she's showing, they seem to be a bit strange. So here you can see she's saying that this was her traditional marriage, and then from there she went into her white wedding. Now, I was struggling to say, is this the same person? And, there seems to be some similarities there, that this is her husband, this is the same husband, but he seems very different. Like you can see here in the traditional marriage, he looks a lot fatter, he looks a lot older. Is this what you'd wear in a traditional marriage? He seems to more be like he's at an occasion rather than being at a traditional marriage. Here he seems to be a lot younger. So the question is, did these photos take place in the same period? Is this traditional and then marriage? And if it's not, then why is she saying that this was the traditional marriage? And, there's no picture that she showed of her and her husband together in that traditional marriage. She showed them in the wedding, but not in that traditional marriage. And then, even with her own photos, you can see there's a big difference. So this is G Gift, her traditional marriage, and then this is her wedding. This one seems to be like a very old photo, like something which took place maybe like years ago, just by how old-fashioned the photo looks. Whereas this one seems to be like a more modern, up-to-date photo. So was there a traditional marriage? She's saying it happened before this marriage, but they don't seem to go together. So, the reason why I'm making this or having this discussion is just because there's so many secrets in this family. And I feel a lot of this has led to the personality change in certain members. So she arrived in Lagos. Editorial talks about how she struggled. There was no money to support her.
Does your father not have other children before your mother went to marry him? You don't get stepsisters. The ones maybe in day before your mama entered that house. How many una mama married before una two Conde?
So Editorial now came into a house where there were a lot of mouths to feed. Number one, you've got Kemsey that he felt he had to support. Then Jenny was now on the way. Then you've got this 13-year-old, almost grown-up daughter coming from the village. So was he able to support the family and especially support children that were not his, especially because before he got married to G Gift, as we've heard, he had children before. So you can imagine Editorial now coming, this shy, introverted girl, having been rejected, now forced into this family, feeling very outcast. how did she feel? Did she feel part of this
This
family?
is a full family. This is myself, Edith, the father, Ekemini, and Jenny.
So you can see G Gift really trying to, make the family seem like it's a complete family. But we know that her husband was not Editorial's father. We don't know if he's the father of Kemsey. We'll do another video on that. But she's trying to now make it look like this man was the father of all of these children, which is not right. And then you can imagine, how was Editorial feeling as this grown-up girl, teenage girl, 13, 14, 15, a man you've only known for 3 years before you went to Abuja, you're now saying that he's the father. Does it make any sense? How would that have affected Editorial? To be the sister to these two very young girls, the huge gap in age.
This is a complete family.
So, G Gift thinks it's a complete family. This is her describing this family many years later in Abuja, once Editorial has made it. She's gone down to visit them. She's now saying, yes, I have a complete family. But we're talking about when Editorial was 14, 15, 16. How did this 13-year-old girl feel meeting this man for the first time? He may have been in, because G Gift, I think, was in her 30s. He would have been in the 30s. She's only met him for the first time, and all of a sudden he's her father. Does that make any sense? So, of course, major poverty in the family. He has a family. He has to support. Why should he support Edith? And of course, maybe that major poverty in the family increased her sense of rejection.
Things were not actually so rosy with my mom. And we were just managing. We were just at the managing, like we have to just manage to eat, manage to go to school, manage to wear clothes, manage to pay house rent. My family was not doing well. My mom did not have at all. She was struggling.
So you can get a sense of, how tough this situation was for Editorial and to be in this family. And of course, like I said, from 13 up into the age of 16, she managed to finish secondary school. We don't know who paid for her secondary school. Was it her mum? Was it UK's mum? We don't know. But, she talks then at the age of 16, 17, there was no chance at all of further education, of going to university.
Just finished secondary school. Like, there was no hope at that time to be able to say I want to go to the university because there was no money.
So this is something that I really don't understand, because G Gift is a teacher. And even though at that time there was no money, or she struggled, or maybe the husband wasn't working, or she couldn't ask the husband to support Edith. Why should he support Edith? She's not his child, and he has his own children that he's struggling for. But G Gift prioritized her own education. It might be that, because I think this happened, around maybe 2004, 2003. It might be that, yes, there was absolutely no money then. But G Gift prioritized her own education, as you can see here. So even though this was many years later, 2018, that she got this second degree, but it shows that she prioritized education. So what I don't understand is that, why did she just leave Editorial to fend for herself? Why did she not find a way to make sure her daughter got that education?
This is Grandma and her colleagues in the school. Grandma had a second degree from the Faculty of Education.
So it seems like, there may have been a way, because I'm not understanding the poverty and how there was no money at all, unless maybe the husband wasn't working. I don't understand. I don't understand why she couldn't find the money to educate her daughter, and to give her the best that she could give her, that her daughter had to go out and fend for herself. Maybe this next part where Editorial is explaining like what happens to first daughters in Nigerian homes, maybe this will explain why G Gift did what she did.
Okay, so one thing that you're expected to do as a daughter in the family, expecting us to be the mother of other siblings, leave the house on time so that you could go hustle and work or do whatever. They don't even care what you do. What they want to know is that, are you bringing you should be training your siblings for them. You would have to be the one to pay your siblings' school fees and then come back to take them one after the other to wherever you're staying.
So, is this the reason why Editorial was treated the way that she was? Number one, because the husband he wasn't working, and besides, why should he be supporting Editorial when he has his own children? Or was it also because that her job was basically just to support the family? She's the eldest daughter. She needs to go out there, go and hustle. So Edith did what was obtainable to take her out of that house. And another question I asked as well is that why was she in such a rush to leave that house? Teenage girl, stepfather, and her mother, these two young children. Why was she so keen to also get out of the house?
What I did, what was obtainable was for me to get a job and get busy. I needed something that would just take me out of my house, out of my parents' house.
And so she did several jobs. One of them was 4,000 naira.
The first job I did, immediately I finished secondary school.
I worked at a papa. They do laundry.
Yeah, I was actually the one receiving clothes and arranging them. So I did that job for like 3 months, thereabouts.
And then after that, she now started to...
I got another job. My job there was for me to go collect 1 or 2 cartons of this chocolate and go to the market. It was super stressful.
That job was very, very difficult. It was so difficult. We were hawking the chocolates.
All around Lagos, 16 years old, selling chocolate.
We were hawking it around the streets of Lagos.
That was the last job I did in Lagos.
And I thought that, coming to Abuja would better my life.
So remember in the last video, what was also really relevant is the fact that when she went to Abuja, it was not G-Gift that gave her money. It was her grandmother in the village that she reached out to. Her poor grandmother had to get the money so that she could now abscond and go to Abuja. So was it that she just left Abuja, or did something happen in Abuja that made her say that, look, she can't take this, and she was leaving?
I've been neglect Edith. When I'm been throw away and pursue.
So what was the reason why she left? What was the reason why she left Lagos and she went to Abuja? Find out in the next video.